Hello, hello, you guys. So here we are. We're going to dive right in to our goals focused podcast for this month of January. And so, or anytime you need to reset and refocus on a goal, right? Doesn't just have to be now. If you listen to the podcast about your one word feeling, you heard me rant a little bit on goals, and I'll just pick up from that again, and being that whether you are, and hopefully you are, setting goals for the new year, because what a great opportunity to start fresh, to use this time. Why not use it to serve you versus what a lot of folks maybe say, like, oh, I don't do New Year's resolutions or goals. Like, why not? Why would you not? So in setting your big goals, I always set goals for the new year. And then I also set them month to month, and then I set them quarterly. So it's not just like a one and done type of thing. And also the other time that I'll set goals is when there's a season of change or transition, right? So maybe for you, you don't have any changes or as much in goals if you're just keep on doing the things for the new year. But I still hope you evaluate what worked or what didn't work to keep doing those things in 2023, or what other new things you're doing. Like even a lot of folks I follow with races will like find different races to do or do the next level race, right? Like, so hopefully you're still setting goals to grow, even if it's in the same field or same area, right? But that other good time to set goals is when there's a transition or a season of change in your life, right? If there's a separation, if you find your dream partner, if there's having kids, if it's adding another kid, if it's starting your business, whether that's August or February, right? If that's a job change, if you switch jobs or you do your job plus start a business, right? Anytime there's a big transition or season of change, if you lose somebody that was really close to you and there for you, right? Whatever it is, that's also a great time to consider, like, where are you at in life and what goals do you want to work towards? Okay. So I just wanted to put that in to start when we're talking about goals here. Yes, please God, I'll absolutely set them at the beginning of the year. I hope you are. I would encourage it. I do it every year. I have big results in my life. And then also you can use this episode on goals, or any time you think about goals. It also could include a season of change or transition in your life, right? Okay, no matter what month it is. All right, so let's dive in. So these are the 3 steps to hitting your big goal this year or any year, right? Anytime that you're going to set a big goal, these are the 3 steps that I want you guys to set that foundation. When you are like, all right, I'm putting my stake in the ground. This is my goal for this year. Like, this is the 3 things that you want to do to be able to achieve it. Okay. All right. Number 1 is to pick one big goal. Okay. I would say at best, and like 1, maybe 2, but truly, like, what's that one big goal for the year? Okay. And I'm going to break this down for you. So that doesn't mean not to have goals in the other areas of life. I want you to also have goals in the other areas of life. But for whatever that one big goal is for you, I want you to choose that one that's the big one, right? So this is how that could look. And why it's important is that when you people, maybe that it's New Year's time, or in general, when we're writing and thinking about goals, is like, we try to do all the things, right? We try to make a shit ton more money. We try to reduce all of our debt. We try to lose 50 pounds, try to run the marathon that same year, try to start a business and have it grow and make, X amount of dollars in that business that first year, while we also are trying to be the best parents ever before that we ever have been, while we try to have a kid, or while we try to have the best relationship with our partner or find our dream partner, right? All of the, like, that's a lot of big things. If we're working on, what I got 8 up here. So like, that's a lot of big things. And so I want you to choose which is the one biggest one, the most important to you for this year, okay? And the reason is like, so remember, have you ever tried to do that? Like you've set all the big goals and you're like, no, I'm going to do a 180 and do all this. How does that work out for you? I don't know about you guys, but generally when I've tried to do that, then it becomes like half-assing at majority of those, right? Like nothing ever really gets fully accomplished or done in as far as reaching those big goals. It might be like, make a little bit of progress here, a little bit of progress here, a little bit of progress here. And maybe one is like a little medium progress, right? Versus you can still make progress and have smaller goals for all the areas of life. And then there's the one big goal that you like want to hit, right? And then when you really put the focus, energy, and attention there, you can get the big results. And this is what I want to offer to you here. This one big goal that you're going to pick, you're going to decide, you're going to commit, and you're going to pick one is, what is that one that then once you reach that, as you reach for that, will affect all the other areas of your life? So think about that. What's that? If you're kind of like, oh, but I really have these 3, Samantha, or I have these 4, like, and I really want to hit all these goals, is to consider what's that big one that will affect all of those other areas, right? So for example, if that's weight loss, all right, you've had weight loss, you really want to lose the weight, you've been trying to lose the weight over and over and over for years and it's still not happening. Okay, decide that that's your one big goal for this year. And then what are all the ways, so once you lose the weight, I bet you're going to have more energy to spend more time in your business, or to be more patient and present with your kids, and to be less emotional and manage your stress and with your partner, and come home with energy for them because you're eating better and feeling better and working out, and you have more sex, and you want to have better communication because you're more with it, right? You start the business maybe later in the year because you actually have the focus and attention to do that, because now you've got your healthy habits on autopilot, right? You see that trickle down effect from that one big goal, how that then affects every single other area of life. So what is that for you? So that can help you to decide if you're a little bit like, oh, I don't know, which one do I pick? Which one is it? Okay. Okay. So we're going to pick the one big goal. And that's because when we put our focus and energy and attention there, that we can get those big results, right? Versus trying to spread ourselves too thin, trying to do all the things all at once. Okay. I really want you to try and pick that one big goal. And I was going to give an example of what that looks like. So for example, my big goal is in my business this year. And so I have a big business goal, and then that, which also comes with a financial goal. So that kind of hits 2 birds with 1 stone. By building my business, I build my finances also. Okay. But then so that's my big goal and focus. That's like basically my extra time and attention goes there. But I have goals in all the other areas of life, right? So like in my relationship, in that I'm going to still have a date night every single week. And I have a relationship coach, a marriage coach. So I'm still going to show up for that coaching once a month. And then each week dedicate 30 minutes to that. So that's all small stuff, right? I'm not trying to like do all the things and all this for like my relation. I'm not trying to like, I've got my partner, like we're just going to cultivate and maintain our love and our relationship for each other. We'll probably do a trip together this year at some point, right? But like, that's it. So that's not like that much. That's going strong, right? So same thing in my workouts and my health and fitness. I have a goal to go to 3 times a week of strength training versus this last year, I was mainly at 2 times a week. So I'm going to go bump that up to 3 times a week and some new programming. It's a goal. Still going to be a little bit of a stretch to make sure I get out of my comfort zone with the lifting that I'm going to be doing, but totally within my wheelhouse. I'm not going from 0 workouts to 6 a week, right? And then I'll also be doing a couple ultras this year, but that's also again in my wheelhouse, right? So this is something I've been doing for 10 years come this May. So setting ultra marathon goals for me is just like maybe people going out for a 5K goal or something, right? It's not a huge undertaking. I've done it before. I'll do it again. I will know how to set up the training, or if I need coaching, where to go for that, right? So smaller goal, right? The financial goal is really taken care of with the business goal, right? So right there even. It's like it's already, and I've been doing this all last year, taking care of things, setting systems up and things in place for that. So that's just a continuation, right? So I have goals in other areas of life, but my big goal for this year is going to be building the business. And so that's where my big focus and energy goes. That's what it's going to look like in my calendar and schedule, is the majority of my extra time goes there. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to give you an example. So, you know, like, yes, please set goals in any and all areas of life, but we need to define like those, where are the smaller ones that we set, and then where's the big one that we're going all in for, which brings me to point number 2. All right. So the second step to hitting your goal this year, you've picked your big goal. The second step is to go all in. Okay. And that's why I wanted you to pick just one, is so that you can truly go all in on that goal, not half-ass it, not kind of put some time in here and there and yet hope and expect big results. Like, I should have this, right? No, I want you to go all in on your goal. And I actually think I did a podcast on this before, but if not, I'm going to tell you what that means here. When you go all in on your goal, I want you to think about, what are you going to do different that didn't work last year, right? Or didn't work in the last 3 months or the last 6 months, whatever time frame you want to give it. But what have you been trying towards your goal that hasn't worked, so that you're going to do different? What is that going to look like in 2023? All right. So what are you going to do different? Write out all the ways. I really want you to get specific and detailed. Like, did you hit snooze when you plan to get up in the morning? So what are you going to do different to not hit snooze? Are you going to go to bed earlier? Are you going to figure out what's going on with your sleep? Are you going to stop eating late night? Are you going to give yourself a full 8 hours to sleep in your schedule so you can get the sleep that you need, right? So that you can get up in the morning, right? Are you going to have your clothes laid out in the morning so that you do want to go work out? Are you going to, what are all the ways, right? So take a look at what you're going to do different to go all in. Where are you going to invest in yourself around your goal? So a lot of this is very common. And listen, I know this too. Like, I didn't start investing in myself until about 3 years ago, like truly investing in myself, this going all in concept, right? So, but now I do it all the time and it gets me big results and I love it. So I am a fan of investing. And what I mean by that and what that looks like is, where can you invest in new workout outfits for yourself? If you have clothes that actually do not fit you or you do not feel comfortable or good in for your workouts, you need to get and dress for where your body is right now. So where do you need to invest? And that could look like, y'all, this also doesn't have to mean you go invest in a ton of like Lululemon or Athleta stuff or things that are pricier. Your investment could be going to Goodwill and getting nicer, or getting clothes for yourself, right? Clothes that fit, that still are nice and feel good. This could be going to Target. This could be going to Walmart. This could be going anywhere, Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, right? Wherever you need to go, but to invest whatever your budget is. If it's $20, if it's $200, if it's $2,000, you choose what you can invest. But you need to invest in yourself. What are those workout clothes going to look like? Do you need to invest in some shoes, or a Peloton bike, or a gym membership, or a boutique gym membership? Is it investing in coaching and being able to have a coach so that you have the accountability support tools and a plan to be able to reach that goal, right? Is it investing in an Audible membership so you can listen to books that are going to support you? Is it investing in a watch so that you can keep track and that's going to help you to become more accountable? So I want you to think about what works for you and within investing, right? Like, what does that look like? Okay. But figure out those ways. What are you going to invest in that's going to allow you to get closer to your goal? Okay. The next idea with the going all in that I want you to consider on how to do that is what kind of support are you going to get? And I want you to think about professional support, personal support, and educational support. So those three areas, when you're thinking about going all in towards your goal, what does support look like? Do you need to enroll your partner or your spouse? Do you need to be direct with them and ask them for what you need? And P.S., by the way, they are not there to be your everything, okay? They are there to support you, of course, but they are not a professional, right? They are not a personal trainer. They are not a motivational coach. They are not a life coach, right? So absolutely ask your partner for support or your spouse for support, but they are not your everything. And if you think they are, then that's a whole nother conversation. But I want you to get that support from them how best you can, but also know that they are not your everything, okay? You also need professional support. You also need other educational support. You need friends support. Who are those friends that can support you personally, that you know will have your back? So what I'm not talking about here is so many times we think support, like we need our partner to be like fully enrolled. Why don't they have my back in my business? Or why don't they have my back and hold me fully accountable to showing up for my workouts? Because they're not a professional like that, right? If they've never had a business before, then they're not going to be able to offer you that support to build yours. And same thing, like if they can eat whatever they want and, doesn't even affect their bodies at all, they're thin as a rail, and you're trying to lose weight and like ask them for support, are they the best person to potentially ask for some of that support? They can love you and, do some things for you, and you can figure out what that looks like for them, have a conversation. But I just want you to recognize, like, personal support is different than professional support, different than educational support. Okay. But who is that? You've got some personal friends that are going to actually support you instead of like throw you down and be like, you can never do that. That's like, why would you do that? Don't ask for support from those friends. Find the friends or your partner that is going to lift you up and energize you and motivate you and like really be there for that support you need in that personal way, right? Professionally, again, do you need to invest in a coach, in a trainer, in an app where there are workouts like the Peloton app, or I use Playbook app for clients, where it tells you how to do the workouts and what to do, right? So do you need to invest in that professional support? And then educational. So what that means and looks like is, what podcasts are you listening to support you towards your goals? What are you listening to? What are you reading? And that could be an Audible too, audiobooks, or what books are you reading? What courses are you taking? If you're going to go all in towards your goal, like what does that look like when you go all in, right? And the way I like to think about this too, I feel like I did do a podcast on this. The way I like to think about this too is, think about if someone's having a baby, or you're having a baby, or you've had a baby, right? That people don't just get pregnant and then are like, well, I mean, I'm going to try to give birth. I'm going to try to raise this baby, and hopefully we'll have a crib and some things when I give birth, Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to do this. No, right? Like, you go all in. If you find out you're pregnant, you freaking make a space in your home to create a nursery, whatever that is and looks like, with whatever your budget is, right? You start talking to people about it, asking them about their birth and what's the best way to do this or that, or what should I do for this or that. You get support personally. You might hire a doula. You have a doctor professionally. You start to read books about babies and kids and all of that postpartum, right? You start to read about having a child, right? You get that support educationally. You might even take a course, right? On how to give birth, right? Labor and delivery. You might take a course on postpartum, what that recovery looks like, right? Beforehand. You would invest in even like clothes for the child, invest in a crib, invest in a car seat, invest in making your home baby proof, invest in a doula. Like, so all of these things, I want you to think about it in that way with whatever your big goal is. Imagine that's like having a baby. You don't just, well, I mean, hope this works out. And I mean, I'm going to try to do this. No, you go all in. You pick the one big goal and you go all in. Invest in yourself, get the support professionally, personally, and educationally. Okay. And so that's what going all in is. All right. Pick one goal, you go all in. And the other thing I wanted to say about that, it just came up for me, is like, when you go all in, so same thing, let's use that analogy of the giving birth or like having a baby. You have baby appointments, going to the doctor on your schedule, right? And you show up for those appointments, right? It's very important for you and your child that you show up for those appointments, right? So same thing. You need to also, going all in, put your workouts, put your healthy eating plans, put whatever that looks like in your schedule, in your to-do list, in your day-to-day. And those appointments become just as non-negotiable like you would if you had a baby appointment, right? That's going all in too. Like if somebody looked at your planner, took a snapshot of your life, they would be able to, within it, like almost an instant, tell what's important to you and what your big goal is of the year. So think about that, how that's showing up for you. What does that look like? What are you maybe posting on your social media and sharing about, right? What kind of books are on your nightstand? What's the apps on your phone on that first page, right? How much time are you spending educating yourself and learning about your goal and going after it versus watching Netflix, right? You should be able to tell what's important to you, what your one big goal is, by taking a snapshot week of your life, okay? All right, number 3. I get so excited about this. Okay, so number 3 is, this is going to be super simple, and I just want you to hear it and take it. And that is, decide to make your goal inevitable. Okay, let's say that again. Decide to make your goal inevitable. So what I mean by this, and when I want to say this too, when you have this frame set, this mind of thinking that your goal is inevitable, like come hell or high water, doesn't matter if you have a bad day or a bad week, you are getting right back on that horse and going after it. There is no quitting like for good where you're just like, oh, this is never going to happen for me. See, I can never do this. I'm never going to be able to lose the weight. I'm never going to be able to like make money in my business, blah, 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 whatever. Right? No, you're going to decide that your goal is inevitable and you will do whatever it takes, however long it takes to get to your goal. Versus what happens to so many of us when we set a goal, especially a big goal, that we haven't been able to reach because perhaps we've been doing the same things over and over and not going all in, but kind of half-assing it, is that we don't hit the goal. And then we just quit and give up and we say, oh, like, see, I'll do this after the holidays. I'll do this once I have more money. I'll do this once I change jobs. I'll do this once the kids go to school. I'll do this once, ... right? And what I want to offer is start now with whatever your goal is. You can, and decide to make it inevitable. That whether it takes you an entire year to lose 20 pounds, or it takes you 2 years, or if it takes you 6 months to lose 10 pounds, whatever it is that your goal is, if it's in your business, it's taken me 3 years to get to this point, y'all. And I'm telling you, the moment I can remember this time, the moment I decided to make my goal of having an incredible, profitable business where I'm serving so many men and women, is the moment my business changed. That doesn't mean it skyrocketed. It still took me the 3 years of consistently showing up day in, day out, whether I felt like it or not. And that's the same kind of effort that you have to do, is consistently showing up, whether you feel like it or not. And even when it seems like it's not working, or even when you feel like you're failing, that you still show up and you keep going towards your goal no matter what. That is what making your goal inevitable is, and it will change your life, right? Because imagine, just think about it now, if you have that one big goal, where like for so many clients that I speak to and know, is they've been overweight now for years, or a lifetime, a decade, a lifetime, right? Or since they had their kids, and their kids are now like 7 or 10 years old, and they've been overweight this whole time. And what has happened is they've tried to lose the weight for like 3 months or 6 months, and got the gym membership maybe, and kind of were going all in and all at it, and low carb, keto this. And then after 6 months, they just it was exhausting and overwhelming. And they didn't see immediate results like they expected, or that they should have, quote unquote, right away, right? So then they just threw their hands up and were like, it was exhausting, it was overwhelming. They weren't, quote unquote, getting the results they wanted, so they just quit. And then maybe started the next year, or quit for 3 months, and then started again for a month, kind of half-assing it. And then life happened, and then they quit again. And then think about what that does to your psyche, right? When now you've got all this evidence and proof you're using against yourself to say, well, I've been trying this for 3 years. Nothing works for me. Nothing works for me. One, that thought will never serve you. Ditch that right away. If you say that to yourself about any goal, just throw that shit in the garbage. Okay. But versus you deciding to make your goal inevitable, you don't ever have to say that to yourself again. You can just say, I'm figuring it out. I'm going to figure this out. That didn't work this week. That didn't work this month. That didn't work this quarter, but I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure this out. It is working. And you find the evidence where it is working, because I bet you there are things that have worked for you in the past. You just didn't give yourself enough credit for those, right? So when you decide to make your goal inevitable, it becomes a powerful force for you to keep taking actions and building momentum, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't have the results that you want yet, right? Versus that whole start and stop cycle that never serves us, okay? All right, so the 3 steps to hitting your goal in 2023, or anytime you're going after a goal, is you're going to just pick one big goal, okay? And then you can have little goals in the rest of area in life, things that are more on cruise control. But you're only going to pick one major big goal to go after, okay? You're going to go all in for that goal, investing in yourself and whatever you need for that goal, finding the support professionally, personally, and educationally, all of the ways that you can get support for that. You're going to have a snapshot of a week to show that you are going all in towards your goal. It's in your planner. It's in your schedule. It's phone calls that you're making. It's things you're listening to and watching. It is all in, right? And number 3, you're going to decide to make your goal inevitable. Meaning it does not matter what life circumstances get thrown at you. It does not matter. You will keep going towards your goal. One thing I just want to say about this, last thing, is that consistently showing up and going towards your goal does not mean you are a perfect human being and hitting it at 100% every day. I teach my clients this concept of being okay and embracing being a B student, meaning that like every week I set my goals for my workouts, right? I know I want to get these many workouts in or do this. And guess what? There's a good chance I miss one of those workouts, or I have to cut it short. I'd like to do maybe an hour of lifting and I only get 40 minutes in or 20 minutes in, right? Or I plan to do this workout, but then something happened. And so I didn't get to show up then, but then I just showed up the next day, or I went for a walk that day, right? So when I say showing up day after day, making your goal inevitable, it does not mean you are some perfect human being. It means you show up when you still feel like shit. It means you show up when you're tired. And if that means like B or C student work, that's Okay. And actually, that's how you keep going and how you build momentum, right? Versus just throwing our hands up and saying, oh, I just can't do it today, or I can't do it this week, or I don't even know if I should be doing this. Like, it's not ever working, right? And just stopping. No, you just show up as best you can with those moments and with whatever circumstances you do have. Okay. So that's what I just want to put that little caveat in there for you guys. Okay. So I cannot wait to hear and see what you guys are going after, what those big goals are for 2023. I would love to hear any of them. So please share with me on Instagram at Samantha's Real Life. I'm on Facebook, just my name, Samantha Nivens. But find me, share what your goal is for 2023 and what takeaways you're taking from this podcast to be able to move forward and to hit those goals. Okay? All right, you guys, we'll see you again soon.